Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It is Friday the 5th of June. We have new mods, a load of new mods, and we have a load of new updates. Just on a side note, on this day, 76 years ago, British and American troops and troops from all over the world gathered on the south coast of Great Britain, preparing for Operation Overlord, the D-Day landings, which took place on the 6th of June 1944. Always strikes me as a very poignant day, the 5th, the day before all the prep, where the airborne troops set off before. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there. Bit of history for you if you didn't know. Right, first off, we're going to have a look at the updates. I'm doing something a little bit different today. So, the updates for today. Unfortunately, the first part of this went blurry. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, we have got an update to the Lintner Unitrack pack by Vectorman. I'm going top left across, then the bottom row. The Lizard Mark MKS33 by JDFendt has had an update. The Holmer Slurry Pack. Now, there's a few by Holger Seng stock today. The Holmer Slurry Pack, the KoPi Slurry Pack. Then if we come down to the bottom row, we've got the Kuhn Interactive Sprayers, the HS 10.5 Sprayers, the Samson Slurry Pack and the Hardy Interactive Sprayers, all by Holger Seng stock, have all had updates. It's been busy. Top row again, Westbridge Hills has had an update. The CSZ Equipment Pack has had an update by DD Mod Passion, and the Selling Station by Fernand24 has had an update. That update on the Selling Station is to incorporate the add-on Straw Harvest, so I'm assuming you can now sell straw and hay pellets there because it's a selling station, not a buying point. I would urge you, as I always do, go and have a look in the Modhub at all of the change logs, because there's loads of information. I just thought sometimes when I read them all out, you've got no frame of reference, so I suppose it makes more sense to have even if it's just the pictures up, so you can see what mods it is that have had updates. So those are the updates for today. And so on to the first of the mods. First of the mods today, we got the Kuhn Merge Maxx 902. This is by JDFendt at LS11. Now, this is the mod. This is the standard in-game one. They are pretty much identical, apart from the modded version. We have the option of putting some wide tyres on and a beacon. That's it, really. That's the only difference between the two. When you look at the picture on the Modhub, it looks different to the in-game one because the picture's different. I thought, oh, we got a new Merge Maxx. It's the same one. If you don't know what this is, if you're new to the game, this is a windrower. Unlike the other windrowers that generally use discs and things like that and bring everything to the centre, the Merge Maxx uses belts. So you've got a belt drive system here, and the beauty with this one is that you can have it set to go left swath, right swath, or centre swath. It's a fantastic bit of kit, but like I say, it's not much different to the standard one. We'll have a look at it anyway because that's what we're here for. So under windrowers, the standard in-game one there, the Merge Maxx 902, 110,000. We use 7 slots. It's 9.1 metres wide, 140 horsepower. We go on to the modded one, 110,000, 7 slots, 9.1 metre, uses 140 horsepower. But the options available on this, we can have it without a beacon on the back, or with a beacon, and then you can have it standard or wide tyres. Like I say, that's it. This, like I say, if you haven't seen it used before, what we'll do, just hook up quickly. So if we dropped it down and for example turn it on, I'll switch attachment to that, I think. No, not that one. It's going to annoy me now. Give me a second. Turn it off a second. Right, there we go. So you have to get the right thing done. I think it was on the tractor. If I now go R1, it says toggle work mode, so I can go toggle work mode. Let's go up a little bit. L3, so that puts on right swath, so everything goes out to that side. Left swath puts out to the other side. Centre swath lifts everything up. So when you turn it on, it switches the direction of the belts as well, so both of those belts are now running to the centre section. Press it again, the belt this side switches and it all goes this way and comes out that side. Press it again, the belt switches this side and it all comes out this side. So in essence this is a windrower, that's what it does, just a slightly more fancy one. So that's the first of our mods. We've got quite a few to get through and we've got some corkers today, some really nice ones. Next up we have got this. This is the Stark Industries SCT635B. This is by Baki. This is a Helianthus header. So this is specifically for sunflowers only. You can do sunflowers with a corn header as well. Excuse me. But if you use a dedicated Helianthus header, this will run at a much faster speed. So if you're going to do a lot of sunflower, it can be advantageous to have a Helianthus header. So this is a Stark Industries one. If I recall correctly, we had this on FS15. That was when I first started playing the game, so it may well have been before that as well. That's my only frame of reference. So it's kind of been brought back to life by Baki. Like I say, it's a Helianthus header, it does sunflowers. So you'll find this under headers. Right on the end there, 25,000 to buy. This will use 4 slots, so not too bad on the slot count. It will run at 9 miles per hour, whereas most headers, when you do harvesting, will run at 6, so it runs a little bit faster. 6.5 metre width. There are no options available. You get what you get. And that's to go on to your harvesters, whichever harvester you may choose. It's more for smaller harvesters because we have got some bigger Helianthus headers, but there you go. Moving on, we have got this. Gotta remember now. This one is the Lizard S043/2 by BorSuk and KoPi. This is a small seeder. I think it's only a 2.5 metre. There are a few options available on this. This will use, how many slots was this one? 15, fairly high in the slot count for a small mod. Really nicely detailed though, loads going on this mod. So, options available. You'll find this under seeders. There we go. 3,500 to buy. 250 litre tank on it, and all do your standard crop types, your cereal crops. Only 20 horsepower required as well. So if you're thinking of using the small tractor packs and the old Fergie pack and that kind of stuff, it'll run that no problem at all. Options available. We can change the main colour to anything on that palette. So for example, blue does the whole kind of everything. Rim colour we can change to any one of those, so we can change our rims for example to red. Design colour changes all the pipes, tubes, or however you want to refer to them. Like there. So we've got green on there. Whoa, that went in a bit too much. That's better. Then protective cover, we can have a protective cover across the back there or not. It's entirely up to you if you want to see the workings while everything's going on. Scrapers, yes or no. So you can take the scrapers off. And then disc markers, which are your ridge markers, you can have those yes or no. You just extend the ridge markers out. Pre-GPS days, the ridge marker would go out, leave a line, and then when you come back around for your next pass, you line up the centre of your bonnet on the ridge, and then you should have it all lined up very, very nicely indeed. Those are your options available on this little seeder. There you go. That's by BorSuk and KoPi. Moving on. We've got these. There's some really exciting mods today, some really cool stuff. I'm really pleased. I'm pleased never get mods, but there's some really cool stuff in this. This is the Placeable Cars pack by Sphinx. Now these cars are not drivable. They're not new cars to the game that you can jump in and drive around in. It's not Grand Theft Auto. But these are placeable cars that if you want to add a bit of immersion to your your map. If you are building a map, especially on no man's land or wherever you're doing it, you might have put in a new factory or something, you know, whatever it might be. You want to have cars in the car park or cars parked on the side of streets, whatever it might be. They've got this car pack, and we got quite a few in this, really nicely detailed right the way through. We'll have a look at it in store in a minute. Got a cement lorry as well, dump truck, some really cool stuff. I do like this. If you're going to do like a building site one, you can have a couple of these knocking about, and like I say, some really nice detail. These are 1 slot each to place, so they're not going to hit you hard on the slot count. If you are going to add a bit of detail to your map, I think they're 1,000 each. And in this option of all of those, you can have them all like this clean, or there's an option to have dirty versions of these which have got mud and stuff spattered all over them. But we'll have a quick look. Anyway, these you'll find under placeables, under decoration I think they were. So in order that they were in the line, we've got vehicle 1 clean, vehicle 2 clean, vehicle 3, I don't think we can change the colour. No, we just place them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, it goes to truck, doesn't it? Sorry, 6, then truck 1, truck 2, truck 3. And then we go on to the dirty versions of them, as you can see there. So they're exactly the same vehicles, just a dirty version of them, so whichever you'd rather go for. I just think that's it's a nice addition as a decorative object. You know, sometimes when you do place factory mods and various different things around the map, it's one thing that can be lacking. You might place houses and buildings and stuff, but then there's nothing to add that bit of immersion to it. So does make things a little bit more interesting for doing let's plays and storylines and stuff now as well. I quite like that. So anyway, that's the Placeable Cars pack by Sphinx. Moving on, we've got this. This is the Krampe Turbo Tracker. This is by Edge Gaming. This is a dolly. It's a rather extreme dolly, if you ask me. That's my own personal opinion. We have got quite a few dollies in game already. This has got a nice long front on this, which gives you plenty of reach depending on what vehicle you're using. Unfortunately, it's a ball hitch one. We haven't got many pin hitch dollies. There's a couple knocking about, but you always think straight away when you see a longer dolly, you think, whoa, is that going to attach under harvesters? Will that attach to forage harvesters? The ball hitches generally don't. Generally speaking, the pin hitches do, with the one that's got like a donut shape on there rather than that. Anyway, that being said, this is 11 slots. There are a ton of options on this with regard to paint schemes, colour schemes, decals. Nice feature on this as well though is the 5th wheel plate on the top there can slide backwards and forwards, so it does give you a bit more option, especially if you're going to daisy chain vehicles together. Sometimes you find the trailer units can be quite close together with dollies. With that you can push it right the way back and it gives you a few options. So what we'll do is just quickly jump in here. Make sure I get the correct one, so I'm going to open my help menu. If I do R1 and then my right stick side to side, you see the 5th wheel plate moving there? It's a nice feature that, like I say, you can bring stuff right up to the back or push it further away if you want. That's a nice detail to have that. So, we'll have a look at this in store. You'll find it under Tools, under Dollies, and Turbo Tracker. 12,900, like I say, it's 11 slots. But just say it requires 50 horsepower to pull it, which is an interesting one. They don't normally have a horsepower requirement, but that says it requires. I suppose maybe it needs some power to move the 5th wheel plate, so you're going to need that at least, I would think. So options available, like I say, there are a load. Rim colour, and some of the colours on here are just amazing. I would suggest have a bit of a play around with these. So we've got gold matte, silver matte, Case IH matte, and we go down and we've got chrome matte, ghost white matte, but then we've got chrome colours, edge silver chrome, Case IH chrome, New Holland chrome, which I think is what I went for. And then you've got pearl purple, like put on that on, look at that on the wheel rims. So you've got a pearlescent kind of flip on that as well. There are way too many for me to go through and show you all of them now, but some really funky looking colours on there. And then we go on to our main colour, same thing again. We've got the sort of standard colours down the bottom. Pearl purple, crimson glory. I mean, it looks fairly red to me, but yeah, look at that. You can go for a really psychedelic dolly if you want. And then we've got design colour. And again, let's try and pick something that's going to stand out. Let's go with the green. And that does the rails. You can just see the rails there in the light just about. The rails there have gone green. Now, as far as tyre options go, we've got Trelleborg. We can have twin radial, wide radial, forestry, rough. I do like the rough ones on these. There's some really cool tyre options on this as well. We've got that Michelin, cargo, wide cargo, heavy duty, off-road, narrow twins. That's a nice option. I do like that. Back to wides again. Then we've got Nokian, off-road and standard. And then Lizard, which is more just your road tyres. And back to Trelleborg again. Then we've got the option of white decal, black decal, red decal, or no decals. Then protection, if we go across one, you've got plates on there. So you can have it half painted, full, so it puts a plate on the front as well. See that come on there? Full painted, so that's your design colour. So as well as the rails, you get that. See those both there painted? So just about glistening. Or no protection at all, so you can take those plates off completely. You don't have to have them, so you can seal the workings inside. Then you've got detail painted rail, so your fifth wheel can be painted as well in the design colour. Painted in the main colour or default. Then you've got default fenders or painted in the colour. And then we've got license plate on the back. You can have license plate. And now it's weird because it says license plate painted with license plate and then without. So I mean, to be honest with you, really the only options you're going to be looking at is with or without, because I didn't see any real change with painted. Does it put an edge around it? Oh, maybe an edge around the license plate. But anyway, so as far as a dolly goes, I think that's probably one of the most customizable dollies I've come across. You may find something in there you like. I love the tyre treads, the big off-road chunky tyre treads. I think I went with the jewels on that, didn't I? The twin narrows. But yeah, I mean, it's a dolly. It does what a dolly does, but it's just very cool indeed. Moving on, we've got two trailers. I'm going to start with this one first. We've got the Lizard ORL 180 by 76 Maxx. This is a bale or pallet trailer. It's not an auto load trailer, it's just a trailer. It does have straps all the way along it, if I can find them. And it, it's a swivel axle at the front. It's not really a lot else to be said. I do like the VIN plate, nice detail underneath there as well. This you will find. Now I looked in baling technology and found it there. It might be under trailers as well, but I just thought it was easier to find it under baling technology. So there we go, the ORL 180, 19,100 to buy. This will use 4 slots, so not too heavy on the slot count. Options available, you get it red and that's it. I think the ORL stuff, the ORM ORL, you get yellows and reds. I don't think you get many options on these. No extensions, or you can have that front extension there, so when you brake, your bales don't come flying off. But if they're strapped down, they shouldn't anyway. To be fair, those are your options on that. That's it. There we go. Moving on. We've got this one. This I just went for a bright colour because you had a few options on there and I thought, it will stand out a little bit. This is the Flatbed trailer by LucaModding. It's got a few options as well. I do like the light configuration you can have with this. There's lights around the side as well. A few tyre choices with this too. This is also a swivel axle. This is also a bale or pallet trailer. And this has got straps all the way along the deck as well. Like so. It does have a hitch on the back. When I bought these out onto the map, I had this one on the back of the tractor and I had the ORL 180 hooked onto the back of that, so that rear trailer hitch does work, so you can daisy chain or put multiple trailers together should you want to go down that route. This I also went in through baling technology, just makes life easier. So we go, the flatbed trailer, 12,500 to buy. This will use 22 slots. This is fairly high on the slot count, I'll be honest. But we can change the main colour to anything on that palette. So for example, red. We can change our rim colour to anything on the palette there, like so. We can change our design colour, which does the ribbing underneath. I'll do that yellow so you can see that. So the ribbing underneath there changes colour, like that. Tyre options, lizard, we get standard. Trelleborg, we can have standard, we can have wide, narrow. Weirdly, and I was looking at this a minute ago, that standard, wide is narrower than standard, and then narrow seems to be about the same width. So I'm not sure about driving over crops with that, where even though it says narrows, I personally wouldn't. I haven't tested it, but could be a bit of a gamble. Michelin standard, knock-in standard, back to lizard. So it's really Trelleborg that have got the tyre options on that. I think I went for those, the wides, so they were a little bit more knobbly. Details, none. You can have reflectors around the side, or you can have the lights, which is what I went for. Just so at night the whole thing lights up a little bit nicer. Those are your options, and that's what it does for pallets or bales. Like I say, it's not an auto load, so that's that. Moving on to the next of the mods. We are blessed today to have 3 new vehicles as well. We've got this. This is the Massey Ferguson Delta 9380 by Jeff D25. This machine in the real world was Machine of the Year 2014, the Massey Ferguson Delta. It's nice to have a bigger Massey harvester in the game again. Nicely detailed. I like the option with tracks as well. I think a lot of them we get like that now. But yeah, it's nice. Nice mod indeed. Sorry, I'm saying nice a lot, but it is. This does come with this header as well, which we're going to have a look at. We'll have a look at the options too. Does have an opening door. Opens up like so. Pipe out. Lights. No light on the auger though on this one. Beacons. In-cab. Nice bit of detail. Lights on. Beacon light as well up the top there. See the red one going on off? It's one of the things I always look for. Don't know why, just habit. Door open and close. I'm going to open the help menu because I get it wrong every single time. R1 and right stick up and down opens and closes the door. Like so. Horn. Can't really hear it from here. Yeah, it's not the most powerful of horns. The header, as with most headers now, we do have some adjustability. So L1 and right stick up and down, we can raise and lower the header. We can also bring it forward or bring it back. So you can have a bit more kind of aesthetic feel. If you want to adjust it for the crops you're doing, you absolutely can. It's not a draper header, it's an auger pipe. Bring everything to the centre. So, let's turn that off. We'll have a look at this in store. This you'll find under vehicles, under harvesters. The Delta 9380, so 12,500 litre tank, 496 horsepower. This will use 19 slots. The header will use 8 slots, which isn't too bad at all. Options available, we can have the option of Trelleborg with standard or wide tyres or crawler track. we can have Michelin, standard, wide, crawler track, and back again. Those are your options. That's what you get. As far as the header goes, under tools, under headers, we've got the Massey Ferguson Power Flow 35 foot there, 51 grand to buy. Like I say, 8 slots, 10.7 metre. That's it. That's the mod. But like I say, it's nice having a large Massey back in the game again. I suppose technically with the Agco, with the Fendt Ideal, you can have it Fendt, Massey, Challenger, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like a dedicated Massey Ferguson. Very nice indeed. There we go. Moving on. This is cool. Now, like I say, there are a few mods today that I'm really happy with because of some of the features they have. There's a couple of negatives, but so this is the John Deere 8RT US series. This is by Custom Modding and Steenkamp Modding. We do have an 8RT in game already, but it's not a US spec one. But there are a load of options available on this. Unfortunately, as it always seems with John Deere equipment, this comes with a hefty slot count. So if you're on console, prepare yourself. 61 slots on this, which is a pity because it's really nice. I mean, if you're not bothered about slots, if you're just going to run a smaller, operation with maybe one tractor, maybe you don't care. That's fine. If you're on PC, it's not going to bother you at all. It's not relevant. But it's a really nice mod with some fantastic features on it. Least of all, as you probably can tell, front loader attacher on an 8RT. I think normally when you get onto them from the medium tractors to large tractors, you don't normally get front loader attachers. I'm trying to think of any we've got. The Massey Ferguson 7700 I think is the largest we go now, isn't it? And that's under mediums, I think. So yeah, this is a nice touch, although it's a bit finicky to get it on. But that doesn't come in this pack. This is separate, but I just thought I'd get it out to show you. We'll have a look in the Modhub first. Under vehicles, under large tractors. So there are 8RT series just there. Like I say, 61 slots, but we can have it standard, like so. We can have a front bracket, we can have a 300 kilogram weight, 500, 700, 1100, rock box, which I think is a nice feature. Back to standard again. Now where it says wheel brand, this is actually the wheel track. So the axle width. So we can have 80 inch, 92 inch, 104 inch, 120 inch. That's madness. But brilliant. The standard in game one, I think you only get 2 choices. I think standard and 3 metre. So having a few different options in there is pretty cool. Like that. And then we've got wheel setup, which is your tyre tread width. So you can have 16 inch, 18 inch, 24 inch, 25 inch, 30 inch, and then back to 16s again. Then frame weight, and this puts a weight underneath the frame at the front where the standard axle on a normal tractor would be. So looking in through there adds a weight underneath there just to give it a bit of extra ballast should you wish. Then we've got the option of Starfire receiver on the roof. Again, that's aesthetic on console because we don't have GPS mod or anything like that, so it doesn't serve a purpose other than just it looks nice. Then we've got the Gen 4 extended monitor. So inside you can have the Gen 4, we'll be able to see that pop in there, but maybe around from the other side. Zoom in a little bit. See it there? Puts the whole arm bracket and the Gen 4 screen in like so. And then we can have engine size. We've got the, let's go back to there. So the 8320 RT at 376 horsepower, the 8345 at 394 horsepower, and then we've got the 8370 at 420. And then back to our 8320 again. Then we've got the option of front loader attacher, yes or no, which threw me a little bit when it popped up. I was like, whoa, hang on, front loader attacher. That for me, that's brilliant. That's, that makes it a much more versatile option as well. If you're going to go for a big tractor, but it still gives you the option to do front loader work, that's pretty cool. Then we can have the 100-year celebration decal, which just puts it in through there, just set appearing and disappearing. And it puts on the rear sticker on the windscreen as well. Waterloo since 1918. There you go. And then we've got beacon. We have no beacon, left beacon, right beacon, both beacons, and back off again. So yeah, quite a few options. Let's hop in, shall we? Beacons, horn, lights. Unfold tractor, the US spec, puts your light stalks out, like so. I do like these. I'm always gutted when they have such high slot counts. We have seen of late quite a few tractor mods coming out where they're being really well optimised and the slot counts haven't been as high, but for some reason the John Deere's... Now, like I say, this is a little bit finicky and I really struggled to get this to go on, and it's not going to want to do it now, which is a pain. I think it's just the way I did it. Oh man, it's going to drive me mad. I got it to go on earlier. No, it's not going to do it, is it? Come on. Nope, it's not going to let me. Now, there are a lot of different mods out there for... It's just about trying to get that front end under. I think I sort of didn't put the bucket through properly, but anyway, it does have... You can put it on there. You saw from the thumbnail it is on there, so you can put it on. Unfortunately, the John Deere one seems to be a bit of a nightmare for putting on. But from in-cab, loads and loads of detail in here. You've got suspension as well, seat suspension. You notice as we're going along, again that slight bounce, we're bouncing with the seat rather than the seat bouncing around us. Very nice. Lights on all across the bottom, and if I put the hazard lights on, we've got one for the hazards down there as well. Not hazards, beacons, sorry. And then from outside we have got the option to, if I fold tractor, put those back away again. If I do my right stick and sorry, R1 and right stick up and down opens and closes the door. And then left L1 and R1 and my left stick side to side, I can move the steps. So I can move that all to one side like that. For getting in and out and then putting it back when you go, kind of thing. And I think when you get out that stays there. Yes, it doesn't put it away, so you can kind of get in, and then when you get in you can then close that back up. Often when you get out of vehicles and stuff it automatically puts them back again, but so yeah, I like that. It's a nice mod. Yeah, I mean normally I get a bit bent out of shape over the slot counts and stuff, but you can see why it's got a high slot count because of all the detail on there. I'm a bit frustrated about that front loader thing. That's really annoyed me because I was hoping to really show that off. Only because I think that's a really cool feature to have on a large tractor. But anyway, love them or hate them, it's there. It's a nice mod. That's by Custom Modding and Steenkamp Modding. Moving on, we've got this. We've got the Deutz-Fahr. This is the Deutz-Fahr Agrotron. Where are we? Look at my sheet. Deutz-Fahr Agrotron 128/150.6. This is by Redcat. Redcat 3D. This is 18 slots. It's a lovely little tractor. I do like these. It's almost a little bit like the drop nose Masseys, but the slightly more modern Agrotron. Nice tidy mod. It does sound nice as well, which is always a good feature. So this you'll find under, I want to say medium tractors. Was that where I found it in the end? Yep, so for the base model, really cheap, 31 grand, so not too bad. Options available, we can change the rim colour, so we can have the default grey, dark grey, and then a kind of metallic grey in there. We can have the main colour, standard Deutz-Fahr, like new Deutz-Fahr green, and then the more faded older Deutz green. Then on the front, unfortunately I'm having problems with these again. We can have weight carrier, which I don't think you should see there glistening on the front. And it puts the plates on not side to side but on one in front of the other, so we can have it 200 kilogram and then it goes up in 100 kilogram increments. But I'm having to bounce around on the menu, which is a bit of a pain. But if I go back, we can have it with a 3-point on the front with PTO, or we can have a 3-point without PTO. I would probably always go with PTO just so you can hook stuff up that requires it, like mowers and things like that. And then if we go one more across, it takes us back to the front weights, and it goes all the way up to 1,100 kilogram weight if you want to go for the weights on the front instead. As far as tyre options go, we've got Trelleborg, Nokian, that's it. The Nokians, the standard communal. The Trelleborg, we've got 128 default, 150 default, so the versions that they come in standard. Then we've got wheel weights, wide tyres, wides and weights, narrow tyres old, and it's the rims that are different. Narrow tyres with the newer version. I do prefer that look actually, I think that's really nice. And then back to our 128 default again. Then on the back, the fenders, you've got the rounded like that, and you've got shaped, kind of brings them out a little bit, swings them out a little. And then we've got no beacon, beacon left, beacon right, beacon left and right. And then we've got the Agrotron 128 128 horsepower, or the 150.6 at 150 horsepower. And then we've got a front loader attacher, yes or no. So we can have this up to 150 horsepower. If you have it on the 150 horsepower version, which we've got, 39,025 with twin beacons and some weights and stuff. So it's not too expensive, not bad at all. Lights on inside. There's no opening doors or windows or anything. But as far as beacons go, L1 and X folds them or brings them back up again. Beacons on, lights, horn. And you get what you get pretty much. But it's, like I say, I do like the sound of it. And for just under 40 grand, not a bad tractor that, 150 horsepower. So there you go, that's the Deutz-Fahr Agrotron 128 150.6 by Redcat 3D. Very cool. Which brings me on to, I think, looking down my list, last of the mods for today. I'm just checking my mod hub on my computer to the right just to make sure nothing else has bounced up while I've been doing this. So, last up. This, for me, is a bit of a game changer, and I don't say that word as often as I used to, but I like this a lot. This is the Open Sheep Pasture by Foo Farmer. Because with the advent of seasons and various different things that have been coming out, we've had a few different pastures where you can move your animals out into a pasture. I know a lot of people have said, oh, wouldn't it be nice if you could just put your, if you put a sheep farm or sheep pen down, it's on a bit of land. This gives you the option to potentially have a open pasture on any grass field you want, on any field you want really, because there are no fences on this. If you look at the pictures on the Modhub, if you get a chance to, go onto the website and have a look, it does show some pictures of this as a mod, and it does have a rectangular kind of plate, and it does say to try and put this on flat ground where you can. So there is a rectangle that you can't see. And when you put your sheep on, they won't go beyond the borders of that. Obviously, they're not just going to wander off across the map and not come back. But they are, for all intents and purposes, kind of free roaming at the moment. Now, you could put your own hedge in here. You could put your own fence around it. There are plenty of mods for doing that kind of thing. If you wanted to use the new placeable cars, you can put cars around the outside if you want to. If you're running some kind of salvage yard or something and you want to have sheep in the middle. But what I like about this as well, you've got your buy, sell, load or unload point, which is just here. We've got some storage underneath for bales or vehicles, whatever you want, and the wall pallets spawn out here. We've got our feed trough and water trough right out in the front, so everything you need for them is right here. Just better check actually. I wanted to see if it was seasons ready. I can't remember what it said on the Modhub. It is seasons ready, which is also very nice indeed. It supports 110 sheep, so not a bad size either. But like I say, what it does mean now is you can pick any field you want on the map, as long as it's fairly flat. You might want to flatten it a little bit, do a bit of landscaping, maybe. Any grass field, bang, stick this in the middle of it, you've got yourself a pasture. It doesn't have to be that kind of set, prescribed, you know. I know at the end of the day it is still just a sheep pasture because it does have a boundary, but I don't know, I just think it's a big difference, I think. It just has a nice open feel, and if you put that in a field you've already got, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I just think it's quite cool. So that's my own, my own personal feeling on it, but you'll find this under Placeables, under Animal Pens. 21,000 to buy as well, really cheap. Slot count on this 19, not too heavy on the slot count either. Yeah, I just think it's a brilliant mod. 110 sheep, 21 grand, put it in any field you like. Yeah, I don't know, it's, like I say, that's my own personal preference. But that's it. I think that's it. That's by Foo Farmer. That's the mods for today. I'm just double checking my list because we have had quite a few and I don't want to miss anything. No, that's definitely it. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.